We want to talk more now on our top story in the Prime Minister's visit to Northern Ireland. Mr Johnson and the DUP are adamant that the Irish backstop has to be removed from any deal with the EU. But many who live in the border fear massive disruption and job losses will result from Brexit with or without a deal. Well, Mick is the editor of the political web blog Slugger O'Toole. Good to talk to you. Firstly, what did you make of the Prime Minister's visit this morning?
Well, he has to do it because for the simple reason that Stormont is now down for 2.5 years, as he said himself. The question is, has he got a plan to get it back up again? One of the biggest issues he's got, and this is Brexit generated, but not necessarily, it's not a cause, the collapse wasn't caused by Brexit, but he's now got himself into kind of a sub-diplomatic war with the Irish government, who are the co-guarantors of the Good Friday Agreement. And really, it's hard to see how it makes any progress on Northern Ireland without the resumption of that partnership. And with the no-deal Brexit really very much on the horizon now, over a disagreement over the backstop, it's very hard to see how he makes any progress at all. This really just looks like a visit for the optics.
Yesterday evening, he had dinner with Arlene Foster and Nigel Dodds from the DUP. I mean, how do you think that would have gone down with the other parties in Northern Ireland?
Very badly, but really the other parties don't really matter when it comes to Westminster numbers, and that at the moment is the only thing that Mr Johnson really cares about. Sinn Féin have 7 seats. Those 7 seats, had they put them to some use, would have really created some disruptions for Mrs May and could continue to make disruptions for Mr Johnson over all of this, but they've chosen to stick to their guns, to put principle ahead of practice, and they won't be taken any further part. So there isn't really, in a pure realpolitik way, any point in Mr Johnson spending time talking to Sinn Féin or even any of the other parties who don't have seats at Westminster.
I guess in many ways the problem that the Prime Minister has gone is that regardless of what side of the Brexit argument you are on, what is clear for everybody to see is that Brexit has hardened the divides on all sides.
Oh, absolutely. Worse than that, it has actually taken away any sense of shared ownership of the Northern Irish region. And it's kind of released a certain kind of dystopian politics which is riven with pessimism and fatalism, and has given rise to the idea that actually Northern Ireland can't be governed. That's not good for the Union. It's certainly not good for Unionists, and it's definitely not good for the people of Northern Ireland. This sense of a complete loss of agency, that they have no control over the way the health service is being run into the ground, education, and all the other kind of gripes that there are in other parts of the country. But at least in other parts of the country, there is a sense that by going to the ballot box, you might be able to change that. And I think that given the history, given what we saw earlier in the year of the kind of the not inconsequential rise of violence on the Republican side, I think this is a very concerning business, and very concerning in a sense that the British Prime Minister seems really almost blissfully unaware of it.
It is very concerning, Mick. I mean, so you're basically saying it in no way, shape or form will Stormont reassemble by the 31st of October?
Well, I can't see the circumstances under which it would do that. In fact, Parliament's just passed a bill in which a whole bunch of goodies, socially progressive goodies on changes to legislation which govern abortion, which is illegal in Northern Ireland, the only place on these islands where it still is. Same-sex marriage would be legalised. All the incentives are for even Westminster not to be incentivised to get the people around the table by the time of Brexit comes. And of course, that then takes the whole of Northern Ireland into another space. And if these ice-cold diplomatic relations continue between London and Dublin, I don't see where anybody's got the political capital to put this thing back together again.
OK, Mick, nice to get your thoughts. Mick, the editor of the political web blog Slugger O'Toole. Thank you.